What if this boy could make history? In the last 2 decades, China has moved very actively into Africa. The world's reaction has been mixed and perhaps even unfair. We believe China can do it with some soft power. But what is soft power? Soft power is the Queen of England and the English Premier League. It's the Tour de France and Christian Dior. It's Hollywood and Michael Jackson. These put Britain, France and the USA at the top of soft power rankings, and China is not on these lists yet. Recently, new countries have entered the space. K-pop is now popular all around the world, giving a real boost to the desirability of Samsung, LG and Korea in general. Qatar is boosting soft power by hosting the World Cup and acquiring Paris Saint-Germain. What can China do in Africa to project the soft power? We believe we have the answer. This is the Tour de France. It's the biggest annual sporting event in the world. And this is Suleiman Kangangi. We met him 11 years ago, hauling firewood up the slopes of the Great Rift Valley in Kenya. Suleiman comes from an area that produces the greatest endurance athletes in the world, and it just so happens that the Tour de France is an endurance event. So we gave Suleiman a bike, and we set up a training camp. And from that, we built a full-fledged cycling team. Putting a Kenyan athlete on a bike should be obvious, and the fantastic results we get from the lab prove that we're onto something. Today, Suleiman and other East Africans are winning races around the world with our partner, Bike Aid, and here's where you come into the picture. China can sponsor the team and own the whole story. And this is why it makes sense. China is now a global power. On its Belt and Road Initiative, Kenya is a vital conduit. Sponsoring a pioneering team with cyclists from Africa at the Tour de France will show the world China's generosity, its belief in Africa, and its capacity to delight. This is the stuff of soft power. And at the heart of soft power are the stories. Have a look at how P&G uses sponsorship with the Olympic Games.
该上学了。快点吃啊！
P&G, proud sponsor of moms.
The Thank You Mom campaign was the most successful campaign in P&G's 175-year history because stories work. At Kenyan Riders, we have transformative stories. We have stories of grit and the human spirit. Now have a look at just one aspect of our story.
Tour of Rwanda, it's super competitive now. It has built up a good name, the overseas teams, all the best teams in Africa.
Sometimes you are a bit nervous because sometimes you want results, but you have to stay calm for the best results.
You know, one day we're going to be somewhere in the world. We'll be on, TV internationally, and people will wake up in the mornings, turn on their TVs, look at us. We'll look so different. We'll have such different stories to tell.
For me, it's a passion. This is what I want to do. It's not about the job. If I treat it as a job, I'll not go anywhere. I want to do this the rest of my life.
The man who wants to ride his bike for the rest of his life was the boy we met 11 years ago. Suleiman Kangangi is now the best cyclist in Kenya, and he's making a habit of excelling at races. There are lots more talented young men like Suleiman out there. With China giving opportunities to them and their communities, we can go all the way to the Tour de France. In return, we'll give China a story. So partner with us in this adventure.